We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association. In partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. Welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arens on the 1s and 2s. Not usually on a Fridays, but here for this Friday, January 2nd. And we got an absolute party going on right behind me here. I'll put up the window for everyone who's watched on the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961. You're not the Weekly Disrupt anymore, but Culture and Coffee just wrapped up with the host, as always, Mike Smith. And if you are watching the streams, you can still see that's going on as we speak. They're still skateboarding out there. They got some competitions. I think we're still about to see a haircut as well. You can still pull up 1040 O Street right here on the corner if you guys do want to check it out. And I will be talking here myself to give it company. We got college football playoffs. I haven't broke down the Husker football game and my thoughts and how I feel about it quite yet. And then, of course, Nebraska basketball. They got Michigan State here in just an hour, and that is going to be an electric matchup, not just for the biased Nebraska fans that live right here locally, but this is a national game. I mean, there's going to be a ton of eyes on this one. It is on Peacock for all those who are going to be trying to figure out where to watch that game, so make sure you got that in check before 8 o'clock rolls around. But plenty of things to talk about. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685, Sartor Heyman text line, and of course, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961, all great ways to do it. All right, I think the fairest thing to do before we get too far ahead is quickly, I want to talk about this bowl game matchup for the Huskers, and my thoughts probably aren't too much different than what a lot of other people thought in this game. I'm curious what you guys thought as well. You can always join in. I think me and Chris Raff highlighted it quite a bit leading up all week to this game versus number 15 Utah, that this was a huge opportunity for Nebraska to adjust the narrative that was somewhat being told for them. I mean, a tough loss to Iowa, a tough loss to Penn State back-to-back. And, of course, there was that Minnesota game earlier in the year as well. And Nebraska had been bullied by some of those more physical teams, and it was an inability to stop the run. Major inability to stop the quarterback run. And then offensively, it felt like at times if we couldn't get the ball rolling with a good run game offense and stay on track with just essentially don't make it second and long, make it 2nd and 7 at the very least. We can work with that. In that Minnesota game in particular, we just got out of sorts because the first down plays were busted quite a bit outside of the first drives. And that was the story again for that Utah game. Nebraska comes out and has an awesome drive. They're not just, calling them fluky plays. They're getting good blocks. You're seeing the running backs, they had a collection of the guys seeing who could come out there. And they all, I thought, did a solid job up until the first drive. And as soon as the first drive was over, similar to Penn State, similar to Iowa, the team just came to a grinding halt. I can't remember exactly what the time stamp was, but we had a first down, with X amount of time left in the first quarter. We'd have to wait all the way to the fourth quarter before we got another first down. And after that touchdown, it was 17 unanswered in the second quarter. And you're like, all right, we can maybe try to bounce back on the second half. Second half, Nebraska gets 0, gets outscored once again by 14 points. And at that point, you're kind of just playing for pride. As much as we may like to sit here and say that there was a real opportunity for Nebraska to come back, it was just disappointing. I couldn't give you the exact answer why those scripted plays, or scripted drives, I should say, go down so well, because that wasn't the only game where it's been like this. And then the team just really struggles to figure it itself out after that first and second drive. It's one of the crazier things I've seen. It makes sense that kind of in the Frost era where we've had a lot of success with the scripted drive, but the wheels have just completely fallen off the wagon in those last two. I'm not saying that, we need to get rid of Dana Holgerson or Matt Rule or calling for anybody's heads or not Pat Stewart. I'm just as perplexed as I think probably the coaching staff is at times. What would you guys do? You go out there and get a new quarterback. Is that going to solve all the world's answers? I don't think it will. We did that with Dylan Raiola, and he's gone, but we brought in what was a 5-star caliber quarterback. And yes, we went bowling back to back, but I don't know how many people can say that it's purely because of Dylan Raiola that we're back. Now, he's a big help. I don't want to diminish anything that he's done for the university. Good luck to him as he has officially hit the transfer portal today. But a quarterback fix isn't going to make this program a serious contender anytime soon. This is a multiple problems going on. TJ Lateef, he didn't necessarily look great in that one. But again, I don't think just go get a new quarterback out of the portal. I'm already seeing Notre Dame's quarterback being mentioned. Some people want to go get Sam Leavitt. It's not going to fix the team, is where I'm at. There's a lot of holes within this team, and that's where I wonder, how far away are we? Because you're kind of got a ship with a ton of holes in it. It's like the Tom and Jerry cartoons back in the day where you plug one hole and another one pops up. And it's gotten to the point where it feels like we have a new problem popping up every other week with this football team as the season went on. So it's going to be a big offseason for them. And as I'm speaking here, it looks like we do got our first haircut going down the way here. Again, at 1040 O Street, it's still a party if you guys want to check it out. You got the skateboards out. I think they're playing some games out there as well. And like I said, you got the first haircut going down. They also got a lot of cool merch that I wish I could get a better camera angle on it. But especially if you guys are into some more of that vintage, skater look, right? They got a lot of cool stuff down here. And they're not charging you an arm and a leg for it. Pretty good deals down here and everything. And then, like I said, still a party. So if you have not checked it out, I highly encourage it. You can get some gear. You can maybe participate in some of this stuff or just figure out what Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys are necessarily all about. A little bit back to football here. With this Husker football team, I'll quickly go through just some of the stats. Again, they lose 22-44. I do get 8 points at the end there. First downs, Utah at 26, the Huskers 16. The third down efficiency was actually not bad for the Huskers, 50%. You'll take that. 8 for 16. Utah was the same thing, 7 for 14, 50%. Fourth down conversion, we really struggled all year. I think we're probably in the low 30s when it comes to fourth down conversion this year. We were 1 for 3 and they were 2 for 3. Total yards, 343. Not the worst thing you've ever seen. Not great either. And then Utah, 535. We've TJ Lateef's 15 for 28, about 6.5 yards per pass. And then Dempier for Utah was 19 for 31, but a lot more explosive. He was averaging 10 yards per reception. Interceptions, we only had the one. Again, with TJ Lateef, I didn't think he really played a bad game at all. You can maybe want him to clean some things up. But that's maybe what you expect for a guy who got thrown in there versus a UCLA defense who was, threatening at times, but I don't think anyone's going to lie to themselves and call them a really elite defense. And then you walk into a hostile environment in Penn State, and then you walk into you welcome a very hostile team in the Iowa Hawkeyes, and then you go play number 15 Utah. I mean, TJ Lateef has not had any room to really get comfortable. And Utah, you saw that. I think he wanted to take off at times. He was just a half second too slow, and it was allowing the guys to get leg tackles on him. But that's why I'm like, let's just maybe hold the horses and go get another quarterback. Think about the road that TJ Lateef had to look at. And he still, I thought, did okay in that game. You can look at some tape. You can look at some throws he missed. But I don't think it's anywhere near of, we absolutely have to go get a guy out of the portal. Because when you do that, as long as you have a guy that can manage the game. And right now, I think TJ Lateef does a good enough job of that. How much money are you going to save that you can maybe put towards some other areas on that offense? You can fix maybe some of those offensive line problems. Although they got a lot better in the run game this year. Certainly not the pass protection game. Maybe you do need to go get some more explosive wide receivers. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the guys aren't getting open enough there. Even on the defense, we want to talk about that defensive line and being able to stop the run. Well, how much money do we have for that? Again, nothing against Dylan Raiola, but how much money were we putting towards his NIL? And then how much is that leaving in the pot for all these other positions? If you already have TJ Lateef, well, I'm assuming he's getting a fair chunk. He looks like a great athlete. He hasn't really shown us any signs that he can't be that guy. So you're going to have to pay him to keep him happy. And then the other option is to double down on paying him, and then you go pay another high talented quarterback out of the portal. Well, now you got two quarterbacks on a nice deal, and you're taking that money away from somewhere else. So that's where I always want to hit, let's put the brakes on. We need to go find a new quarterback. We do this all the time. It's not guarantee wins for the Husker football team. A new quarterback will not fix all of the Husker football problems. He might be an upgrade from TJ Lateef. He might not be, but I just know for sure it's not going to fix every single problem that we've been seeing on here. Continuing with the stats, penalties, Nebraska, once again, fine there. 5 penalties for 35 yards. Utah, 4 for 25 yards. Turnovers, only the 1 interception, like I said. Time of possession, actually in Nebraska's favor, although a lot of that came from Utah being just scoring explosively for a certain period of time. I mean, especially in that first half, it was just kind of quick touchdowns where they weren't necessarily holding on to the ball for a lot. And especially more so in the second half. In Nebraska, it kind of flipped the table. First half, they're significantly down, I want to say, in time of possession. Second half, they were able to start holding on to the ball, putting some drives together. But once again, we saw some of those red zone woes come right back to haunt the Huskers as they were really unable to convert outside of that first half once they got to the red zone. And Dempier, we knew he was going to be a problem. On some quick individual player box scores here. Devin Dempier for the Utah offense. Like I said, I gave you his passing name, but the rushing game, that is always the thing to look for in these Utah quarterbacks. Devin Dempier and the backup, they're really elite in how they do it. He was, for 19 carries, 148 yards on the ground with an average of 7.8, 3 touchdowns and a long of 43. And you knew what you're getting with him, and he still did it to you anyways. You tip your cap to Devin Dempier for playing as great as he did. I mean, all-purpose yards, he's sitting over there in the 400s. I mean, it was just a flat-out dominant game from him. And you knew that's what they were going to be looking for. So, again, you go get top dollar, put it on another quarterback, or do you utilize that money elsewhere? And maybe you look on that defensive side of things. Maybe you need a better linebacker core, another safety. I'm not in the business of name-calling. But I'm just saying, how much money do you want to commit to the quarterback room? Because if TJ Lateef isn't good enough, who's the guy that's better than him that you're willing to put significant money down? And are you okay with letting Lateef go in that scenario? Or are you okay with paying both and just trying to figure it out? The easiest answer is development. I think Nebraska just needs to do a much better job developing talent. Easier said than done in today's era of NIL and college football. But you do look at teams like Iowa that always manage to find a way to do it. Michigan, Ohio State makes more sense because of the money and just the schools that they are already. But even a school like Minnesota, I mean, Minnesota has been beating the brakes off us every time we meet them. You can't tell me that their recruits are any more higher talent than our recruits. Maybe they have a better idea on what talent works for them, despite what the stars say. But if I just think Minnesota is better at developing players right now. And that's not all on Matt Rule. I think that's a collection of, I couldn't fully tell you what's happened with their strength and conditioning program or where the development has taken such a grinding halt. But that's, to me, the biggest area where we're just lacking. You don't really see a lot of our recruits as of late turn into these excellent players that we remember when recruited, say, we'll just use Carter Nelson, for example, although he's not that yet. But, our hope was Carter Nelson out of Ainsworth, Nebraska, plays 8-man football, early on in the Matt Rule tenure. Like, can this be a guy that not only a high school kid that we recruited, a Nebraska guy that we developed into being one of the best players in college football at that position, whether it's tight end or wide receiver? And we haven't really seen any signs of that yet outside of his first year down here. But again, that's where Iowa, that's where Minnesota, that's where a lot of these other Big Ten schools beat us. Even Northwestern. I know we beat Northwestern this year, but again, you just go look at recruiting. That's where those schools, I feel like, catch us more often than not. A sense of identity, direction, and they know exactly what the work ethic looks like and how it should work. Because I don't think those teams are competing with Nebraska, if you look at the quote-unquote just recruiting numbers, unless they're better at developing guys than we are. That's where I stand. I could be wrong. 402-464-5685. You guys can always join in. Unknown texter 402. He wants to know, Nebraska will be paying a 3 quarterback something next year. Yeah, I don't know. He says, I think he's on the same page with me, looking at how expensive these quarterbacks are starting to really cost here for us. I mean, it does get to a point of a little bit of insanity. He says Nebraska has to spend on the QB room, can't have just 1 or even 2 only scholar quarterbacks on the roster, and any quarterback worth a damn is going to cost. Nebraska will be playing 3 quarterbacks next year. Yeah, obviously you're going to have to pay guys. My point is, how much do you want to pay? Because that's obviously the most expensive position. And obviously that's a Stewart question. Gramstead was on scholarship. I'm aware we were paying him. But was Gramstead, did he think he was going to start? Probably not. I think he knew what his role was. And then and maybe there's a scenario where he does play. But that's what I talk about when I talk about quarterbacks. And if TJ Lateef isn't good enough, okay, that's fine. But who's better that you're willing, or I shouldn't say better, but who's a known factor? Because I'm not going to put a ceiling on TJ Lateef yet. But who do we significantly know is better, and how much money are they going to demand? That's where I'm getting at. Obviously, we're going to bring some guys in here. That's not going to surprise me. The question is, how much money do we want to pay, or how high do we want to go for some of these quarterbacks if we bring them into the room? You can go with a more balanced approach, or you go get yourself a quote-unquote baller, a known factor, and really do some damage. Man, things are still going down on here. 1040 O Street. We do got some people outside checking out what's all happening inside the studio. If you guys can see it, they are still skating, doing some tricks out there, and just a really cool venue. What Mike Smith has pulled off tonight. It's going to be once a month. I think it's the first Friday of every month that you guys definitely want to check this out. Coffee and culture. Yes, we will talk, a lot of what is Mike Smith going on, but then we'll have some time after, I believe, every single one of these shows. Just kind of highlight back to some Ticket Weeknights and some good sports content throughout the week that we might have missed, and a good opportunity to highlight everything. But we still got about 5 minutes left here. First segment. Let's get to the unknown texter 1000. I have asked everybody on the ticket, and nobody seems to know what the standard here for Nebraska football is. It making the playoffs every day? What is the standard here for next year? What's the standard going to be? Because I don't think Nebraska will win more than 6 games next year. Great question. I can understand why everyone at the ticket's been struggling to answer this one. I would love to know what the standard is. I think the standard for me personally is, with the resources and the money we have, I mean, seriously, go win 8 games at least. Why sell yourself short? I don't like the idea of next year's hard. If we win 6, no one should be upset. No, you should be upset. If we're going to sit here in the offseason and talk about Nebraska football having some of the best facilities out there in the country, some of the best nutrition in the country, and we're hearing about how great our guys are in the offseason, cool. I don't mind you telling me that, but you have to go back it up. So if that's the expectation, if that's what I'm being told, if we have the quote unquote some of the best facilities and one of the more elite strength and conditioning programs out here in Nebraska, well, that should be a huge advantage for us. Why are we ever getting bullied in the trenches if our strength and conditioning program and our nutrition and the facilities and the red light therapy, you got the hot tub, you got the cool tub, I think we got an infrared thing, sports psychiatrist. I'm all for us utilizing facilities and keeping up with the times, but at a certain point, that stuff's got to show results. And as long as those guys are using it properly, I think that's a huge advantage. And I think 8 wins. I've seen the schedule. It's brutal. There's a lot of really good teams on there compared to last year. But us as Nebraska fans should never lower the standard, I don't think. Especially heading into year 4 with Matt Rule. I'm sure Matt Rule doesn't want to lower the standard. I would hope he wouldn't. Otherwise, why would we extend him? So maybe I get burned on it. Maybe I get proven wrong. But the standard should be held to a higher edge. I think if we're going to keep talking about ourselves as a legitimate blue blood, a blue blood of the past, a sleeping giant, then you have to keep those lofty expectations. I don't think you can be satisfied with, well, it's a tough schedule, so just going bowling was a victory. Or it's a tough schedule, so just getting 7 wins again and matching last year's record. I mean, that's huge. It always feels a little bit different. I think this year, a lot of people had that mindset of Nebraska, they matched the same record as last year, but boy, this schedule is a lot easier. There might be some truth to that. I think there probably is some truth to that, but you still found a way to win 7 games. I think we wish there was more. But you can always put in those little wrinkles. The easiest way to look at it is just wins and losses. I don't like getting to the strength of schedule argument. It doesn't really seem to matter to the AP rankings anyway. So just play the teams that are on your schedule. And if you win enough of them, they'll be sitting all right. The SEC is going to take a lot of those rankings anyway. So what do we care in the Big Ten? unless this year's bowl season finally changes things. But, I'm not so sure because you just see it every single year. So it's a great question from Unknown Sexter 1000. You guys can answer it as well. Maybe we can talk about that more down the road here before we get to the college football playoffs. Again, 402-464-5685. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. You guys tell me, what is the standard of Nebraska football? And if you have a great answer, we'll dive into it. If not, we'll switch things over to some Husker hoops because they got Michigan State coming down in just about half an hour here, right here on 90. Well, I shouldn't say. They're not playing. You're not getting the game called on 93.7 The Ticket. But you will get the post game with me and Austin Orman talking about that game on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm going to keep selling it. You got Mike Smith and the Boo Boys out here. They will be here for quite a while yet, I believe. 1040 O Street. You guys can check it out, get some merch, and see what everything is about. All right, appreciate you guys listening. Don't go anywhere. I got 2 more segments on the other side. 93.7 The Ticket with Arens.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right.
welcome back in. Welcome back in. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We still got 2 segments to go, and if you guys have been watching the stream, it is just a full-on party. They got the music going. You got a young man getting a fine haircut there, doing a fantastic job. You got the guys doing some tricks on the skateboards, all the way from off the ramp, all the way out the door. And if you guys follow our social medias, 93.7 The Ticket, we got our boy Jay cutting that stuff up for you to show you everything that's happening, as well as just keep an eye on the streams. All right. We did get a text here, and I love these answers because I don't know. I get where this texter's coming from, though. I think everyone's thought this before. 1611. Again, we asked what is the issue or kind of figure it out with Nebraska football. What are the real problems? And he says, come on, guys. I like your show. I hear you. But let's talk honestly. The number one problem is the guy in charge clearly doesn't know how to evaluate talent. Clearly, number 2 guy in charge, the guys whose teams gravitate towards the head coach. Coach's mentality is soft, so we have a soft coach who can't evaluate talent. This isn't getting any better. I mean, maybe you could be right. How many more people do we want to fire before we find out the answer? You very well could be right. I mean, if you don't like, I shouldn't say but if you don't think Matt Rule's up to the job, I mean, that's totally your opinion. You can say, you can die on that hill, and maybe that is the absolute correct hill to die on. But it's so hard to figure out. I always use the analogy all the time is, I mean, when you got a car, and especially in today's cars, where if you ever have it where your dashboard lights up, well, now it's all on computers. So one problem can just turn into a million different problems. And there's some problems that are much bigger deals than others. But you get to a certain point, you don't even know what's causing all the issues anymore. Because whatever's happening in your car, it feels like you fix something and another thing pops off. You know, or blinks on your dashboard. That very well could be the right way to go. You know, maybe you don't like the recruiting. You don't like, just the leadership. I don't think anyone's really been too upset with Troy Dannon so far in his leadership, but I could be wrong there. Again, maybe you guys are totally right. But we also had the same conversation with Fred Hoiberg. And I remember, I took a ton of heat. I was dying on the hill of Fred Hoiberg saying we shouldn't fire him. And people thought I was a moron. I can understand why people thought I was a moron for defending Fred Hoiberg for a while there. It was a hard thing to defend. And I'd be lying to you guys if I wasn't uneasy at certain times when I was watching the product on the court. But I got a sense of, boy, who's better? Who can we get here that's even better? And if this guy who was like a guru at Iowa State, and then when he went to the Bulls, even other coaches talked about him as one of the better offensive minds. It's like, if this guy can't make it work here at Nebraska, like, unless you got a absolute home run hire, like a Patino, there might be some guys out there. That's why I died on that hill. So I can totally understand, not being satisfied. And if that's the way you feel, the results on the field sucked for the last 3 games. I can't tell you don't have the right to feel that way. I mean, that's just is what it is. So to the, 1611's point, there is some truth to that. The truth to that, like, yeah, you're right. It looked horrible towards the end of the season there. So, maybe you're right. I just don't feel super comfortable at it right now. Again, we have just so many things that feel off and misguided. If I can't tell you which direction the program's going or what the culture wants to be, I don't even know what the right piece is to fix it. Because I don't know what the identity is. I thought with Dana Holgerson, it was going to be a kind of a more of the gunslinger, not totally away of what Satterfield did with the pro style offense, but a little bit more aggressive. And instead of kind of just like more of the same, which was surprising to me. So I don't know what Dana Holgerson's role even in this is. I'll be honest. The offense from last year to this year, it didn't ever look significantly different. But, you still got Satterfield on staff, and then you got Holgerson on staff. I don't know who gets the full control on the offense and what it's supposed to look like. And then you have a guy in Dylan Raiola. So, was he that limited in what he could call with not a mobile quarterback? Because a past pro quarterback, you would think fits Dana Holgerson better. But clearly it just wasn't quite getting the results that we wanted. As great as you think Dylan Raiola was, like the sack issue was a massive problem all year long. And I don't know if that's more on Dylan, more on the offensive line. Is it on the coaching? The quarterback's coach for not getting it in Dylan Raiola's head that there's certain balls you need to get out of your hands if it's not there right away? Maybe. It's just a very broken house. And I'm trying to figure out what's the most important thing to fix. Because if we do new walls and new kitchen countertops, but the foundation is completely cracked, who cares what we do upstairs? The house is going to sink anyways, no matter how pretty we make it look. And that's kind of been the story of Husker football. We make it look pretty on at the surface with all the new offseason hires and the transfer portal guys. And then we roll into the season. And it's like, oh, yeah, the foundation's still broken, huh? This house isn't going to make it to the end of the year. And it just hasn't. So maybe they are actually working on the foundation. Maybe they are getting it fixed. And maybe we do need to have more patience because it's been back-to-back bowl games for the first time since 2016. I'm not here to say any of you guys are wrong. I'm just as confused as you guys, and I would love to know the answer. Without being inside the building, I think we're all lying to ourselves if we say we truly know how to fix this program. But I'm always down for your ideas and opinions. Maybe you got a good idea on how we can fix it. Let's get Brad. He says, till we fix the lines, it won't matter what skill positions we bring in. Amen. The Big Ten, no brainer. Again, you lose to Penn State, Minnesota, and of course, Iowa. All three of those games, you can look at those areas. And then Utah, same thing. Not going to matter if you get new skill guys if you can't fix that. Let's see. Okay. Shout out 16111. I get you there. Unknown texter 1000. He says, but what happens if he goes 5-7? When he had one athletic director say stand in the hallway and say, we're not going to let Nebraska football go to mediocre right now. We're below mediocre and we're going in the fourth year of a new coach and nobody gave Frost any leeway. So I don't know why we're giving Matt leeway, but we want to spend $400 million building a new stadium. I'm guessing you're not going to be donating to that stadium. Unknown texter 1000. Yeah, maybe you do need more time. I mean, at one point in time, we wanted to fire Tom Osborne. But there's also a little bit of difference because I think even at his worst, Tom Osborne was maybe winning like 8 games. Might even be 9 games at his worst. So maybe it's not fair to put Tom in that category. I don't know. It's a great argument. I'm not saying this is what Matt Rule is doing. I have no idea. Like I said, I've not been inside the building. No one's going to tell me like, hey, Harrison, here's the real scoop. No one's going to tell me a 26-year-old that. But if you're a new coach, it's a great selling point. I mean, if you come to Nebraska, you could just always rely on, well, guys, look at how broken it was when I got here. It's going to take time. So it is an awesome, like, built-in excuse to coach a program. It's like, well, come on, guys, look at what it's been. Of course, it's going to take me more than 3 years to do this thing. And it might actually, because to be honest, it probably is that broken. But then you have the Kurt Signettis of the world that make people want to just have that same kind of leap. And Kurt Signetti at James Madison, I mean, he had those guys going there, and then he essentially just brought him over to Indiana. And then what he's done that I think a lot of coaches miss on is keeping that coaching staff together. Not a lot of turnover. I mean, he's keeping those coordinators still in place. So those players, you know, even from James Madison to Indiana, they know what the standard is. They know what it looks like on a day-to-day basis, how to take care of the body, how to win ball games, how to communicate with your teammates, off the field, in season, not in season. Otherwise, Indiana's not there beating Ohio State the way they did. I mean, it's just incredibly impressive to watch this Indiana team with a lot less talent do all these great things of success. But I think it started out with James Madison, brought it together, and he's just got a recipe for winning. So I don't know if, you know, who'll be the next person to tap into that magic or who's able to do that. Or maybe this is just a magical kind of run for him. But for Nebraska, it feels like we're just still a long ways away. And I couldn't tell you fully what the answer is. It just feels like we constantly want to rip the floorboards off. And maybe that's the right way to go, but it's a tough one. All right. Isaac. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Tom Osborne never won less than 9. So there you go. Tom, he was always. So there was. It's crazy. With that stat, that's kind of like Bo Pelini-esque. Because I know people wanted to fire Tom Osborne for a little bit, which is crazy because he never lost more than 9 games. And I grew up watching Bo Pelini, so it was kind of bewildering to me when we fired him. Now, I'm not saying Bo Pelini was going to go have the run that Tom Osborne had. please don't tell me that. But I always thought we were way too quick with Bo Pelini, and then obviously where we sit now, it's pretty easy to say that. Let's see here. Let's get to 1611 again. Indiana's coach cares about one thing, winning football games. And he's had interviews that say as much. Yeah, I get you there. I mean, to break down his text, he's absolutely right. If there's one bit of advice I'd give to any coach, not just here at Nebraska, if you want to go recruit players, The easiest way to do that is just to win football games, period. You don't really have to sell your brand and go to all these other places. If you're just winning games, the national television will find you. Those eyes will find you if you're winning games. You know, how many people start watching Indiana games simply because they're winning now? Same thing with James Madison. I mean, say what you will about James Madison, but it's always been a pretty dominant school. And for as small as they are, they do a lot better than people give them credit for how many eyes they draw. Now, they're nowhere close to the Big Ten, SEC, and how much revenue they bring. But they're so successful enough that people pay attention to them. They got that history, and they do a pretty good job with it. For Indiana, like Curt Cignetti just does not care. He makes statements. He doesn't really care what people think. He's never really seemed to be satisfied. I think that was the first time I saw him smile was when they beat the absolute brakes off of Alabama, when they gave up 3 points. It was like the first time I saw him relax a little bit. But, I mean, he's been honest the whole time, and he truly believes in his guys, and I think that's the one thing you really see in him is, like, he does not doubt that his guys are the best, and I think you see his players buy back on Curt Cignetti being the best coach. There's a little bit of, it's always so cliche when you talk about this stuff in sports, but I think it does matter, is that there's that family dynamic. You saw that last year with Ohio State's championship run. Is it cliche? Yes, but there is some truth to it. I mean, you're rarely going to find a team that goes on all the way to win the championship that actually does not like each other. They just do a good job on the field, or they're acquaintances, but they don't really hang out off the field. They don't not like each other. They're just acquaintances. There is something to that, and whatever it is, Indiana is fully tapped into it. All right, that's enough on football. You guys have been great. I can't get to all these texts in here, but we have to get to Husker Hoops because that's starting up in just under 18 minutes. Number 13, Nebraska versus number 9, Michigan State Spartans. You got Tom Izzo heading to town. And I hope you guys are loud because I don't think he meant it to be incredibly rude, but he said there's nothing to do in Nebraska. So, all right. Go make it hell in there for him. I don't think it was, like I said, supposed to be rude, but if you're heading to the game, be loud. This is a huge opportunity. Already one of the best start in Nebraska basketball history since 1928. Got to go back damn near 100 years to have this good of a start again. So you're going, be loud. Should be a lot of fun. 2 great teams coming in here and a little bit of lighthearted fun. Redemption at Tom Izzo for saying that there's nothing to do here in Nebraska. All right, we'll throw it to break. One more segment. We'll talk Husker Hoops. Talk to you then.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
You're looking for a cast for today. A chance of wintry mix with patchy fog. Otherwise cloudy skies, high near 33. Tonight a chance of snow. Otherwise cloudy skies, low around 24. And tomorrow we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high near 44. I'm meteorologist Kyle Piker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at koppelcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 The Ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by The Ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by The Ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m.
The time is now. Lincoln Marathon and Half Marathon registration is now open, and prices are rising. The sooner you sign up, the less you pay. Set the goal, start training. Register now at lincolnmarathon.org. Race day is May 3rd.
We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 The Ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by The Ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by The Ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
And electrical.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment, at least for myself. If you guys have been watching the stream, it's been nothing less but a party right here at 1040 O Street. It's got haircuts going on. You got the guys still skating out there. I know Jake Sorensen was down here before he went to the basketball game to check out the party, say what's up to some folks. A couple beers while he was down here as well. Why not? Because Luke is our guy here at the mill. He can always hook you up with that stuff. If you want a cold beverage, we do got the liquor license to where you can go ahead and get a cold beverage. On game days, whether it's noon or late at night, as long as the mill's open, they do serve alcohol. So I want to put that in there as well. We did get some more coaches. Again, 1,000. He's saying, I've never seen anybody run a company that was worth whatever Nebraska is worth. Let's just say 100 million and give you the keys and be like, okay with mediocre. Yeah, no one's okay with mediocre. My issue is I couldn't tell you what the biggest problem is other than the foundation. I mean, it's almost, do you want to just go clean swipe on the result of this season? Maybe. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it. Maybe it burns me next year and I see more proof that we're heading in the wrong direction. But if we, again, just erase everything that's here right now and just do a clean sweep, if next year starts off bad, it's like year 2, year 3. I mean, if that's the way you want to go, I guess eventually you will find the right guy if you just fire the coach, every 3 years if it doesn't quite meet your mark. And they're getting paid millions of dollars, so I'm not saying we should feel bad for them. It sucks that they got to move their family and stuff, but there is an expectation for Matt Rule to do a better job because he did get the extension and he is making a lot of money. I hope he lives up to that expectation. I'm on the camp. No, I'm not ready to fire him yet. I can totally understand why some people are. Maybe next year I'll look like the fool and you guys will look like the geniuses. I couldn't tell you. Like I said, I was on the opposite side of Fred Hoiberg. I was really bought in on him. A lot of people weren't. I could not blame them whatsoever for how bad the basketball games had looked. But now, obviously, this year, unless things go horribly south, which, with Big Ten play really starting up, but there's a chance it could happen. But I feel absolutely confident in Fred Hoiberg because he just does more with less. So I like Kurt Cignetti in Indiana. He does more with less. It's kind of like the key recipe for me on coaches that I like. How much can you do? And are you doing with more? Like for Fred Hoiberg, for instance, he seems like he's got his guys to fully utilize the facilities here at Nebraska and also just his expertise in coaching. I think that is a totally fair statement at this point because you see it on a pretty consistent basis with Fred Hoiberg and that basketball team. Is they're just a really well-coached team. They seem incredibly disciplined. You do not see a lot of sloppy shots. You don't see sloppy passes. They don't take the first shot open in the shot clock unless it's absolutely wide open and it's a layup. But they play really good basketball. And you don't see Fred Hoiberg have to go a lot of timeouts or get that team to kind of lock back in. It's really fluid. It feels like everyone knows what the standard is and everyone's on the same page. And then they have the work ethic on top of it. I'd be surprised if they're not utilizing the facilities here at Nebraska because you go look at Sam Hoiberg. I know these guys get drug tested, so I don't think he's cheating. I think he's just utilizing what are the facilities here in Nebraska. And Sam Hoiberg is one of those guys who's transformed his body despite his size to be the leading route, like one of the better rebounding guards on this team. Sam Hoiberg, I'm not necessarily a tall guy. I'm taller than Sam Hoiberg, and I would be lucky to maybe get like 3 rebounds in that game. Sam Hoiberg is the leading rebounder in the last game, and he had 10. Like, it's just incredible what that kid's done. And some of these other athletes, even Rank Bast, I think you see he's done a good job, rehabbing and taking care of his body. But those guys just seem bought in and they know what the standard is. It's a lot easier to get the standard done with the basketball team compared to a football team when you got 100 dudes. Like it's tougher, but they are getting paid millions of dollars to do it. And they're usually the highest paid coaches for any university are the football coaches. So it's a tough thing to figure out. I haven't coached football at any other level than Pee Wee. And so I know how hard it is to get the Pee Wee guys to lock in. I don't know what it looks like at the college football level, but I can tell you there's a difference when I look at the football team and the basketball team because one team seems to know what the standard is, seems to know the direction, and is totally bought in. The other one seems bought in at times and then shaky at times. And then you get to the end of some games and it's like, we thought we were fired up. I don't like hearing those answers. I'd like knowing like what happened. Not, I don't know what happened. It's like we thought we were prepared, but we just weren't. Okay, so that means you got to spend more time either on film or if you're talking about the physicality of things. Because you heard that a few times from coaches and players in the football program, which was bizarre. You never like hearing those things. It's like, I don't know. I hope you know because you're getting NIL to be at your best. Which is more on the coaches, if I'm being honest. The coaches should know. Look at the player, what he's doing wrong. Okay, where are we putting you in bad matchups? If you guys watch NFL at all, Cohn, who is one of the best coaches, I think, right now in the NFL, who probably is going to deserve. It kills me because I'm a Bears fan, but you almost got to give Cohn Coach of the Year because that team was so dead in the water. I mean, that was a bunch of guys that the hope was already gone. With Caleb Williams, and a bunch of young players, the hope was always still there, no matter who we brought in there. The Jaguars, it was kind of dead because ETN felt like he was at the last leg of his career. There wasn't a lot of people left high in Trevor Lawrence, but he got that team to fully buy in. They believe in each other. And what he does really well is you can go watch it. He holds himself accountable. He'll get in meetings and say, that was, I won't use explicitives, but that was blank by me. I can't do that to you guys. I got to be better. And what happened as the season went on, he got better. Now, Jacksonville Jaguars are, maybe finally out of the muck. And that's kind of the leadership that I see in the basketball team right now. And the football team, I'm waiting for it. I'm hoping for it. I don't know if it's there yet or if it'll ever come. I'll just tell you this much. I'm glad I don't have to be the guy to make the decision. Because How many times have we got to make the decision? Like if you're Troy Dannon and you fire him and then you bring in the next coach, like as great as all these other sports might be, as soon as you get the football coach wrong, that's where it really hurts you as the AD. So with that being said, we do got to go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate everybody texting in here. Unfortunately, I don't got enough time. We've got plenty of more stuff. We can talk plenty of Husker football as these college football playoffs keep going on here. We do got a replay coming up here, so you guys can chill out and listen to the replay, or you can watch Husker Hoops, or you can do both if you're a real fanatic. But this one from one-on-one today, DP's back, so we'll play that. He had plenty of stories. He was out there in Las Vegas, so you can hear a little bit more about his thoughts on the Las Vegas bowl game. If mine were not quite settling enough for you. But nonetheless, appreciate you guys listening, whether you agreed or disagreed with me. This has been 93.7 The Ticket, one-on-one with just Harrison Arens, myself. And we got 2 hours of replays, and then we'll be back, hopefully, talking about a Huskers win as they take on number 9 Michigan State. And if they win this one, probably a good chance they're sitting there top 10. Been a lot of fun. Like I said, don't go anywhere, though. I will be back in most likely a couple hours, along with Austin Horman, who is down there at the vault, getting ready to watch the Husker Hoops take on the Michigan State Spartans. Don't go anywhere.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home.